small business has a story, and today we're going to find out more about the people behind those businesses. Welcome to Tea Time. I'm Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I'm Mike Norfield with Visiting Angels of Lynchburg, America's Choice in Home Care.
And today we are going to spill the tea with Marko Galbreath with T4Tactics. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Are you ready to have some tea time?
I am. I'm ready to spill it. Sweet tea.
Awesome.
I think I jumped ahead, but yeah, sweet tea. It's got to be sweet tea. We're talking about that off air. Sweet tea.
Okay. Great.
So tell us the story behind your business, Marko.
So a retired police officer, it first started out as firearms training, safety training. We focus on creating safe, reasonable, responsible, legal gun owners. Reasonable is the biggest word there. And then we do active shooter response training for businesses, churches, schools all over the country.
So how did you get started in this adventure?
Unfortunately, I saw a need for the active shooter. Started 12 years ago, and they were happening quite frequently. I was seeing that people weren't trained. So that was my background, SWAT team, hostage negotiations. I spent most of my career in the major case unit with police investigations. And so I started researching that, transitioning to training people just to be safe. It's workplace violence. I'm careful not to base it on fear or paranoia because it's a scary topic. So we go in and just give people the skill, education, confidence, knowledge to recognize something and shut it down before it even happens because most attacks are preventable. But that was the basis. I saw a need for it. Maybe one day I'll go out of business and there will be no more need for active shooter training.
Wouldn't that be great?
That's my goal.
That would be
That's
great.
my goal.
So a lot of people start a business and they kind of it's a learning curve to kind of get used to things. Was there a moment where you knew that like this was what you were meant to do?
From 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a cop. And so I moved up here. I retired from Daytona Beach. We moved up here 20 years ago, and I tried to do other things, but it wasn't in my groove. That wasn't my comfort zone. So that's why I started doing firearms training, and then that's why I started doing the active shooter training, because it's my comfort zone. It's what I know, violence prevention. So that's why I started it. Yeah.
So what inspired you to take the leap into, like, from being a cop to doing the active shooter training and opening T4Tactics?
I was a program director for criminal justice at Millermont Technical School. and the program director just came to me and said, can you put something together for us for active shooter? And I was clueless. And so I did a lot of research. We put it together. Well, Channel 13 came out and did a story on it. And I started getting phone calls. Can you come out to our business? Can you come out to our church? And I thought, there's a need for this. So that was kind of a blessing that it just fell into place. And I thought there's a need for this because I'm getting phone calls.
Right.
And so that's where I started. That's where I was always doing the firearms training. But that's where I started thinking probably should do some active shooter training because people are calling for it.
Yeah. It's a needed thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest challenge that you faced in running your business in Central Virginia?
People denying it. They don't think it will. I've interviewed 91 people, 17 of the worst attacks we've ever seen. And I've gone all over the country interviewing victims, witnesses, survivors, law enforcement. And I always hear, I didn't think it would happen here, during that interview. Didn't think it would happen to me. Didn't think it would happen at my church. And so that's what I find in this area, especially this area. Mm-hmm. Most of my business is out of state. Mm-hmm. But this area it won't happen here.
Right.
And we don't want to live in fear or paranoia, but it's not living in fear or paranoia. It's just having a plan and being aware that these things happen. And how are we going to react when it happens? How's your body going to react? Your heart rate?
Yeah. How do you navigate those challenges? Like when people basically say, we don't need that or we don't see the need in our area.
I explained to them, like, there's fire sprinklers here. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall. Well, hopefully we'll never need them. Mm-hmm. You put on your seatbelt every day. Hopefully you'll never need that seatbelt. But if you need the fire sprinklers or the fire extinguisher or your seatbelt, it's there to protect you. Mm-hmm. So it's just knowledge and education. Yeah. It's better to know it and never use it than you just don't know it and something happens and you're completely clueless.
Right.
So I just let them know that, unfortunately, this is the reality. Human violence is a reality, and we just have to be aware of it without promoting fear or paranoia. It's a very scary. I go into churches and businesses all over the country, and you can see the fear on people's faces, just the topic. So very careful not to push fear. That's not what it's about. It's just knowledge. Education is power.
Yeah. What keeps you pushing forward and keep doing what you're doing?
Just my passion for helping people. There's nothing better. I took 2 ladies to the indoor range yesterday and they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. After about 10 minutes, they're hitting the bullseye and they look back at me and their face lights up. And I love to see that now they're going to start carrying concealed to protect themselves, where before they were scared. And now we've gone to the range and we've put them through the class. We go to the range, but now they're comfortable about it. And I just love seeing that light go on where people feel more comfortable. I can protect myself. We do free pepper spray classes because I understand a lot of people don't like guns. I get that. And I fully respect that for whatever reason. But everybody should have the ability to protect themselves. So we do free pepper spray class. If you don't like guns, come by and we'll run you through a free pepper spray class.
So why Central Virginia? Why build your business here in our area?
We moved here. And so I grew up in Daytona Beach, at the beach. It's hot down there. It is hot and miserably humid. Of course, It's cold here today, 32 outside and windy. But as a kid, I always wanted the seasons and I wanted the mountains, maybe some snow every now and then. So we moved up here. We like Smith Mountain Lake. We like to go down there. And so we moved up here and I thought this is the place we're going to stay. So we'll build a business. And I met you early on with Central Virginia Business Coalition, and so that I met people, got in that networking groups. Sabrina and I were in a networking group with you years and years ago. Yeah, and so
I was a little young individual.
Yeah. You're still young individual. You're still a little young individual.
So I'm glad you picked up a new hobby of fishing.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
right.
Fishing.
Yeah.
So how has the CVABC supported that journey?
Oh, early on, networking. My problem is I don't get to go to a lot of coffee talks because I'm out of town all the time or I'm running a class. But it's the networking. Heather's been huge with supporting me, but it's the networking and running classes and just having that ability, not only for my business, but there are people in her organization that I can reach out to and say, you know what, I met this person at a coffee talk and they do this service. I can use them because I've met them. And it's hard to call a service provider and you have no idea who they are and they don't know you.
Yeah.
Now I can put a face with them.
So what do you appreciate most about local business and, dealing with local?
I'm huge. I don't like to support corporate because that money's going out of state. I like local business because when I write that check or give them my credit card or whatever, it's going to stay here. And that's going to support the soccer league, the T-ball, the schools, local business. But I'm really big. I'll go out of my way to go local because I'm a local business. But I think the money should stay in our community and build our community.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, you ready for some quick fire tea questions?
Yes.
All right, so we already know the answer to this one. Sweet tea, unsweet, or something fancy?
Sweet tea.
What's your favorite local business other than your own?
I like Remington Ranch. They do local beef, chicken, all kinds of meats. But again, I don't think I've bought meat from the grocery store in years. I like that local, grass-fed, natural. In Remington Ranch, he's law enforcement with Lynchburg PD. His wife is retired from Campbell County Sheriff's Department. But they're at the Lynchburg Market every Saturday morning. But I just like the clean product. Yeah, awesome. They're good people.
All right.
What's the best business advice you've ever given or received?
Wow. I've made a lot of mistakes and successes and failures in my business. I would probably say keep pushing forward. Don't let anything get you down. Just keep pushing forward. What gives me energy and what fires me up is when I have a competitor come up or something against me. That just gives me more pressure, more I guess, to push harder and keep marketing and keep doing what I'm doing. I like the competition. Awesome. So I would say advice is don't let anything get you down. You're gonna have potholes in the road. You either go around it or go over it and bounce right back. Yeah. Don't get discouraged.
Great advice.
Okay. What's a myth about your industry?
That I want to have everybody to shoot everybody. It is. And that's why I focus on, in my gun classes, I say the last thing you want to do is shoot somebody. So the myth is that I teach people how to shoot somebody. I hear that all the time. And that's That couldn't be further from the truth. That's the last thing you want to do. Your brain is your most powerful self-defense tool. So we want to, you can carry pepper spray, taser, stun gun, a gun, martial arts, but the last thing you want to do is use any of that. Don't put yourself in a situation to have to use that in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the myth is
Yeah.
you teach people how to shoot people. No, I don't. No, that's not fun.
What is one thing you wish you had known before you started your business?
Taxes, how to do taxes. That's tough. That's tough. Had some learning curves with that. Retail taxes, payroll, quarterly taxes, all that stuff. Taxes, was probably and then where to advertise and where not to advertise. I have a tough business because of what I do. So not all advertising works for me. So I found that word of mouth and networking groups work best for me. I just don't get a lot from TV and other media advertising. Just that's because of what I do. It's a very specific group.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can people best support or connect with your business?
They can come out and take my classes. They can talk about me. And if they want to reach out to me, my website is T4Tactics. It's the letter T, the number 4, tactics.com. I'm a one-man show, so I like that because I can control everything that's said. And I know if something is said to a client, it came from me, and I can stand behind that.
And you also have a TikTok.
Yes.
Because I saw your TikTok the other day. You had just gotten back, I think, from San Francisco. You talked about them and that.
Yeah.
But you were talking about when you go to a store, how you like to park farther out and you like to have your driver door facing the store.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed or not. I parked a little farther out today. My driver's door was facing the door.
All right, because I'm going to check.
Then you upped me on one because you parked farther out.
Yes.
And was facing the building. So I was
Yes,
like,
yes.
okay, so he does what he says.
Right.
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 So it was interesting to see that. So
Yeah.
yeah, your TikTok's pretty good too. I like.
Thank you.
The,
Yeah.
the content there.
I mentioned that because my husband has never forgotten the one thing you told him about sitting at a restaurant facing the door.
Yeah.
So whenever we're in a restaurant, that is like his consistent thing now. And
Yeah.
that is because you taught him that.
We
so.
do an observational based awareness class. It's based on human behavior, like what we're talking about. And it's how to look at something and read it and say, is that building good or bad for me? Is that person good or bad? But it has to do with what we're talking about. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for Tea Time. If you would like to find out more information about the Central Virginia Business Coalition, our members, events, or how you can join us here on Tea Time and spill the tea with us, you can go to www.cvabc.org.